Welcome back to Code Hive, the place where we make it work, make it right, and make it fast. So in today's video, I'm so excited. I'm going to show you guys how to create different models and how to use the different model fields, right? So I'm so excited. I did mention this in the previous video and I did give you guys a little bit of an idea of the models.py file. So I did let you guys know that the models.py file is where you will declare and create your models, right? So I did say in the other video that the models are just referring to tables. So in Django, instead of saying tables, we refer to it as models. Okay, so if you still have not watched those two previous videos, then please do so. And again, I wanted to apologize for my previous video because I do acknowledge that the sound was a little bit off. Some parts were just cutting and all that stuff. I was just having some technical issues, but it has all been fixed. So I hope that this video moving forward, the sound will be perfect and everything will be good. So I did go ahead and open up the folder that we created in the previous video where we created our first application as well as our first project. You will notice that there are a few things that aren't supposed to be there, like middleware.py as well as package.log.json as well as package.json. So I was just working on this project earlier on, so hence why you will notice some things that you won't have on your side. Okay, so as long as you have the basics like your URLs, your views, tests, models, app, admin settings, the basics, right, then you're good to go. So I just went ahead and I opened the models.py file and this is what you'll see. So basically we're just importing models from Django. Okay, so I will explain to you guys what that does in a minute. So let's say we want two tables, right? We want an author table, we also want a book table. Okay, so those are the two tables that we want. Okay, so how do we do this? So the first thing that you need to say is class, okay, and then the name of the model that you want or the name of the table that you want. I will be referring to this as a table and as model so that you guys can just get up to date with how it works in terms of Django. So let's say we want to create an author table. Okay, author, then we're going to create brackets. So in those brackets we're going to say models.model. Okay, so models is referring to that models over there from the import, right? So basically you're inheriting a class, right? So basically model in Django is a Python class that maps to a table in a database. Okay, so it includes many built-in methods as well as properties so that it's easier to work with your database. Okay, so it's nothing that you really should be stressing yourself about. You will see how we'll be using this as we move on. So this is a Python file, so I'm hoping that you guys do know a little bit of syntax when it comes to Python. So you're just going to do your colon over there, and then you're going to just say new line. Okay, so now the one column that we want is name, right? So another thing that I will mention as we continue is that Django uses I will mention it in a few. Okay, so we're going to say name and then we're going to say models dot. Okay, so now we are using that class, right? We are using that class that we just imported over there. Well, it came like that, but basically it allows you to make use of these certain functions over here, right? So there's a lot of things over here. There's the fields and all that stuff, but for now what we want is to make this a char field, right? So I did mention all these commonly used model fields in my other video, so if you still are not familiar with what a char field is, then please go ahead and watch that previous video. So when working with char field, you want to set the max length, so the maximum length. So we're just going to say max length, and let's say we want the max length to be 100. Okay, so basically that's that. So another thing that you would notice is normally when we're working with SQL, you would probably say something like ID is equals to, primary key, whatnot. But when working with Django, you guys will see that it does that for us. So if we have just this as our table, so our table is called author, and we just have a name column, right? When we go ahead in our database and we go to see how it looks, you will see that there will be an extra column which will be ID. So Django already does that for us, so you don't necessarily have to specify that. Okay, so for now, that's that. And then we're going to say bio, right? So the author's biography. And then we're going to say models dot text field. So in this example, I just want to make use of as many model fields as I can so that you guys can see the difference and how to actually work with them. So text field is the same as char field, right? But the only difference is that this one can store larger, values and stuff like that. So you don't necessarily have to specify the maximum length. But when you are working with a char field, you need to specify the maximum length. So in terms of text field, you just leave it like that, and that's done. So that's the first model, or that's the first table that I want. And then the next one that I want is book. Okay, so it's still going to be models.model. That's still going to stay the same. And then the next thing that I want is I want to have the title. So the title of the book is equals to models dot. So I want it to be char field again. Char field, and then again your maximum length. So maximum length, I'm going to set it to 200. Then a book summary. Okay, so models dot. I'm going to use text field for this one. Okay, that way I don't have to specify the maximum length. And then the next thing that I want is publish date. Okay, so you will notice over here that this is how I am defining it. So I'm not defining it like with a capital letter P, public, and then date. Okay, so when working with Django, you need to make sure that you use your snake case. I think it's snake case. Let's just quickly. Yeah, it's snake case. Yes, snake case. Okay, so you don't use spaces, right? And then spaces are replaced with an underscore, and your words are always in lowercase. So in Django, you always make sure that you use snake case. Okay, so if we just go back, so the publish date, so models dot. Okay, so for this one, I want to use the date field. So just going to say date field, and that is that. So I did explain to you guys that there's date field, there's date time field, and there's a time field. But in this case, we just want to store the date without the time. Okay, and then if we move on and we say cover image. So like I said to you guys, I want to make sure that I show you as much as I can in terms of the different model types, right? So that you guys are able to see how it works. So models dot image field. So now I want an image field, okay, because it will be storing the cover image of that specific book. But now, where is it going? Like, where is that going? So let's say you have your application and you want a user to upload a book, right? Or author to upload a book, right? How would you do that? Where is that image going to go? Yes, it's an image field, but where is that image going to be saved? Okay, so you're just going to say upload to, and then you just have your own URL. So let's just say book cover. So what it will do, book cover. Okay, just do it like this. Okay, so what it will do is it will create a book cover folder, right, in your project somewhere in that folder, right, and it will create this folder, and that's where the images will be stored. Okay, so that's the upload to. Okay, and then so it's the same in terms of the file field. So if this was a file instead of an image, you would do the same. So now we want to know where this book belongs to, or who this book belongs to, right? So normally in SQL as well as in Oracle, you would say that, okay, you are taking the author ID and you are passing it as a foreign key, right? Cool. But now, in terms of passing in the ID, Django uses instances. So instead of using the ID itself, we're going to use the table's instance or the model's instance, right? So in this case, we have our model, which is author, right? So we want that author to be here so that we are able to see that, okay, this specific book belongs to which author. So the author will essentially be the foreign key. But instead of saying author ID or whatever, we're just going to say author, okay? So now we are creating an instance, or we're referring to the author, to the instance of the author, okay? So you're going to say models dot foreign key, okay? And then now you need to specify the table, okay? So what table are we referring to? Referring to the author table, okay? And then now what we need to do is we have something called on delete. So basically on delete is saying that, okay, if I delete this child, what happens to the parent? Or if I delete the parent, what happens to the child? So for the foreign keys, right, there is 4 options. So there's cascade. So when you sing on delete and you say cascade, right? So if you say something like models dot cascade, like that, this is when you want the child records to be automatically deleted with the parent. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is if you delete a book or if you delete an author, you want all the books of that author to be deleted. So that's the cascade. And then the other one that we have is protect. Okay, so the protect, what it does is you use it when you want to prevent, when you want to delete a parent, right? How can I put it? So the only time you use protect, right, is if you want to prevent deletion of the parent if there are dependent child records. So if there are child records, you want to make sure that you can't delete the child records if there is a parent record. So in this case, the child record is the book, right? And then the parent is the author. So you want to make sure that you can't delete the parent if there is a child record. Then the next one that we have is set null. Okay, so set null is when you want to nullify the foreign key and the child records when parent is deleted. So let's say you delete an author, right? So let's say there's an author with a specific book, right? If you delete that author, then you just want to set this field to null because you don't want to delete the book itself, right? So that's what the set null does. And then the other one that we have is the set default. So I think I should actually make another video to explain these nicely. The set default is when you want to set the default value for this field, right, when the parent is deleted. So if we delete an author and there's already books under for that specific author, so you want to set the default, let's say to author, right? So instead of the author being let me think of someone who writes books. Instead of the author being Joyce Farrell, right, you want to set it to author because what you deleted the parent component or the parent itself. Okay, so I think I will be just uploading another video where I explain to you guys these different on delete functions or methods. So in this case, I just want to say on delete, I just want to use cascade. So basically, again, cascade is if you want so that when the child is deleted, then when the parent is deleted, the child is deleted. So if you're deleting an author, then all the books for that specific author should be deleted. So that's the cascade. So that's what I'm going to use for this purpose. Okay, so basically that is the second model that we have. So I'm just going to stick to those two methods. So we're just going to save that folder, this file, and then now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our terminal and we're going to create a new terminal. Okay, so the previous time we created migrations and stuff like that, right? I deleted that folder, that file, because I want to make new migrations. Okay, so if we cd into our backend and then we make sure that our virtual environment is running, okay, then we want to make migrations. So make migrations is we want to show that, okay, these are the stuff that we've added. You know, I want to add these specific modules. Okay, so Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, so you will see an error, right? So it'll say that you need to get Pillow installed. So Pillow, what it does, right, it ensures that you are able to upload images as well as upload files. Okay, so or run the command Python. So if we just go to the site itself, okay, so that I'm also able to just show you guys the links. Okay, so we need to make sure that we install this. So basically, like I said, it's just to make sure that you allow for image uploading as well as file uploading. So if we just copy that and we come back to our Explorer, to our terminal, and we paste pip install, then it should take some time to install, and it is installed. Okay, so now let me clear that and let's try again the pip migration. Okay, make migrations, and there we go. So now we have our author as well as book. Okay, so now that we've made migrations, we need to migrate. Okay, so migrate is to say that, okay, these are the migrations, so I want to create this, and that. So I want to create the author as well as the book, right? So that's the make migrations. And then once you say Python manage.py migrate, it will apply those changes. Okay, so let's go ahead and say Python manage.py migrate, and then it will say that everything has been applied. Okay, so how do we see this? So the one thing that I want to show you guys is this link. So this is for actually seeing your SQLite file and just seeing how it looks and just checking, you know, everything. So in order to install, right, you're just going to come to this link over here and you're just going to say you want to install on Windows, for example, and then you will select one that you want to install and then install everything. But I already have one installed, so I'm just going to open up mine. So this is how it looks. So in order to open up this database file over here inside that software that we just installed, right, we're just going to come to our DB browser for SQLite and we're going to say open database, and then we're going to go to our folder, then we're going to go to our backend folder, then you will see that DB SQLite and you just say open, and this is what you will see. So just ignore all the other things that you are seeing. What you are looking for is you need to go to browse data, then you go to the drop down over there, and then you need to look for those two models that we just created. So we created author, so that's the stuff that we had. So remember, I told you guys that Django already creates an ID field for us. So you can see we have that ID field over there. We did not include it when we were writing our models, it just created it for us. So that's the nice thing about Django. Then the next thing is if we go to our first app and we go to book, then again it will show our ID as well as everything else. So now you will see that it took the author ID, right? Because the author ID comes from the author table. So hence why the author ID in that other side. So basically that's how you create models in Django, and that's how, you know, the different fields and the different model fields. So I hope this video made sense. I hope you guys understood how to create this. And yeah, so basically in the next video I will try and show you guys this into detail, the on delete as well as the auto now, and just, you know, quickly explain to you guys properly on how it works, and you know, all that stuff, so that it's easier for you guys to understand. And then I will also be explaining migrations as well as migrate, because I feel like I did explain, but I need to explain it in more detail so that you guys really understand. And then from there on, we'll be continuing. So we will be working on this project, step by step. I'll be showing you guys, a few things here and there. Then, the next thing that we're going to do is how to add data into that table, as well as, more stuff like that. So adding data into the table as well as displaying data from the table. Okay, so we'll be talking about your HTTP requests. So I will be showing you guys that as well. So just keep following, keep on subscribing, and hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I drop a new video. And I'm so excited for this. And I feel like I've been talking and saying so many things, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button if you like this video. Thank you guys so much for watching.